Weaver birds are a flock of several families of small passerine birds, which are closely linked to the finches. Majority of weaver birds, plumages commonly, are yellow, but there are some in red, black, or brown varieties, while females are often dull brown colors. They are often known for their construction of embellished nests. A weaver bird is a small bird from the family Placidae. They are chiefly tropical, Old World species, eminent for their nest-building abilities. All species construct domed nests, occasionally with long entrance tunnels. True weavers construct imperishable nests with embellished weaving and knotting grass and reed blades. Weavers are mainly seed-eaters with conical bills, though some species contain more slender bills for consuming insects. The sociable weaver constructs the biggest communal bird nest. The red-billed quelea is the most copious land bird. The main groups of weavers include true placeus weavers, buffalo weavers, social weavers, sparrow weavers, bishops, fodes, melims, quelias, and widows. Their blunt conical bills allow them to easily feast on seeds and grain, with some weaver birds, like the red-billed quelea featured below, demonstrating an immense issue for crop farmers. There are numerous species of weavers, with different traits, behaviors, and adaptations. Most common of weavers are the Placidae weaver finches, having 64 individual species. Most weaver finches can be discovered in sub-Saharan Africa, with 5 Asian and 2 Madagascan species. The weaver consists of a group of birds which compose the Placidae family. The yellow weaver bird acquired its name from the unique way that they construct their nests. These little birds take reeds, grasses, and other vegetation and cautiously weave them together to build their elaborate nests. Many weaver nests are suspended or hung off of branches in a basket, making an orb shape. Male weavers are solely responsible to be the nest builders. Weaver birds are the only birds documented with the ability to tie knots. The weaver nest is non-breeding, i.e., no lining in the chamber. Breeding nests may be used by other birds or animals to rest or breed in, and thus should not be taken. Sociable weaver nests are the massive structures constructed by birds. Some groups of red-billed quelea are so huge they can take 5 hours to pass. The weaver nest is usually on the ground, since it can be broken off by the weather or weavers themselves. There are a number of species of this village weaver birds. Thus, there are different types of weaver birds, of which the most popular are listed below. White-headed buffalo weaver. The bird already has a descriptive name, with its name like the white-headed buffalo. This species of weaver bird does indeed have a white head, accompanied with black wings, red shoulders, and red beneath its tail. Their favorite pastime is going after African buffalo around the savanna and munching on the insects that the massive mammals stir up. Southern masked weaver. The southern masked species displays an attractive yellow plumage and an illustrious black patch of feathers across its face. Throughout the edge of the black feathers, they consist of red accents, along with bright red eyes. Female southern masks do not have the flashy plumage that males do, and they look like any baby brown finch. Sociable weaver. If you think you're the one to know how to socialize, well, think again. This species does not only construct the most alluring nest, but it is known to build one of the largest in the world. A single sociable weaver nest occasionally contains well over 100 pairs of birds. They use the communal nest continually, year after year. Montane widowbird. The montane widowbird is distinctive from some of its finch-like cousins. Male widowbirds have attractive long tails, but only during the breeding season. Towing around a lengthy tail is a tough task, and when the male montane does not need to impress the females anymore, he ditches the tail. Red-billed quelea, world's most abundant wild bird. The number of red-billed quelea is estimated in some billions, as high as even 10 billion. Found across sub-Saharan Africa, besides the forests and the southern tip, they can gather in huge swarms that can clear swaths of crops, proving to be an enormously destructive pest. Some extreme techniques used to control red-billed quelea include the burning of roosting colonies with napalm, habitat of the golden weaver. Different weaver species are native to different kinds of ecosystems. Some reside on the dry savannas and grasslands of Africa, while others prefer to live in dense rainforests high in the mountains. Some of the several habitats that these village birds live in include grasslands, wetlands, swamps, meadows, mangroves, forests, rainforests, and riparian areas on the edges of rivers, lakes, and streams. Some only inhabit a few kinds of ecosystems, while others live in a great variety of habitats. Distribution of the weaver. A huge majority of weaver species live in Africa, although some species also live in Asia. In Africa, they span across from the southern edge of the Sahara Desert to the southern tip of the continent. Many species are native to the tropical areas of Africa, though they live all throughout the continent. The diet of the weaver. The weaver diet differs from species to species. Most are chiefly herbivorous and consume mostly seeds, but they also ingest insects and invertebrates. The proportion of their diet is based on the species. For some species, seeds make up the huge majority of the diet. In other species, insects make up a more considerable percentage. Some of their principal plant food sources include nuts, grains, weed seeds, nectar from flowers, and more. Insectivorous species eat a huge variety of invertebrates, such as flies, mosquitoes, locusts, spiders, grasshoppers, and more. Bird nests. Weaver nests are outstanding structures. Most weaver nests of some species are cylindrical in shape, with narrow entrances facing downward, which are generally situated over or next to water. Making sure that the entrance faces downwards and is as narrow as possible puts off predators and thieves. Some nests even consist of a long tube stretching out to the entrance further underneath the nest body. Having selected a prime location for their nest, the weaver bird begins to loop and weave strings of grass or strips of leaves encompassing the ends of one or two branches in a tree. Having created a looped foundation for the nest body, the yellow weaver bird then constructs the hollow body before adding the tubular entrance last. The males of this species are actually the main weavers, leaving the females with the accountability of choosing their breeding partner. They do this depending on the design, location, and comparative comfort of the nest that ensures the good genetic quality for the father of her offspring, along with a secured home for her eggs. Lifespan of weaver birds. Wondering how old do weaver birds become? Many weaver birds can reach 10 to 15 years of age. The oldest weaver was a village weaver in the wild that was at least 14 years old. In imprisonment, weavers can become even older, up to 24 years old with respect to a village weaver. In the wild, the only way to identify how old weavers become is by ringing birds and waiting for a few of them to be re-imprisoned or found dead. Some of the records of weaver ages are low, since there has not been adequate ringing for those species yet.